Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nicolene Ngumalo, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for this evening's event at Nelson Mandela University. On behalf of the Acting Executive Dean, Dr. Lynn Biggs, and the Acting Deputy Dean, Advocate Lindy Kutsia, it is my privilege to welcome you to the Faculty of Law's Annual Achievers Awards, where we celebrate the achievements of our students during the 2020 academic year. I would now like to hand over to Dr. Lynn Biggs to formally welcome you to this event.
Good evening, academics and members of the faculty, our distinguished guest, Mr. Korter, prize donors, students, parents, and most importantly, our award recipients. I'm Dr. Lynn Biggs, and I am currently the Acting Executive Dean of the Faculty of Law, while Professor Avinash Gavanji is on sabbatical for this year in order to avail himself as an acting judge on the Eastern Cape High Court bench. A hearty welcome to the Faculty of Law Annual Achievers Awards, where we celebrate the outstanding achievements of our students in 2020. Unfortunately, and once again, we were not able to host the awards function in person this year. The disruptions and obstacles posed by the COVID-19 pandemic has had a tremendous impact on all of us, particularly our students. The onset of COVID-19 as a global pandemic in 2020 was a relatively sudden phenomenon. The world as we knew it crumbled around us, and the faculty was immediately faced with the challenge of ensuring the safety of staff, students, and the general public. Our campuses were closed at the end of March 2020, and we adopted the work or study from home approach. It was imperative to keep the academic project alive, and we swiftly moved to online forms of interaction, education, and engagement. The academic calendar was redesigned to incorporate 2 pathways in order to accommodate our students, especially those who did not have devices, stable connectivity, or a suitable study environment, so that no student was left behind. Our students were suddenly thrust into a situation that could potentially derail their academic journey. Thanks to the dedication and tireless efforts of the academics and staff, various innovative approaches were adopted to ensure the completion of the 2020 academic year, albeit in March 2021. Their commitment allowed us to grasp the opportunities presented to ensure that we delivered our programs with integrity and at a high standard in the virtual and online space. I would like to commend all of our students for their resilience and ability to adapt to the fluid and flexible approaches implemented in 2020 by the institution and the Faculty of Law. And now to the award recipients. A special word of congratulations must be given to you this evening. Not only did you achieve in your respective areas, but you did so at a time when you had to rise to the challenges and overcome the hurdles placed in the way of every student during 2020. And you soared. You epitomize the values of our institution and the unique attributes associated with our namesake, Nelson Mandela, particularly that of integrity and excellence. We are extremely proud of you and your accomplishments at such an exacting time. In the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it's done. Well, you have done it and overcame what seemed to be the impossible in 2020. Congratulations to you and to your family and friends who supported you to allow you to fly high. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you, Dr. Biggs. I now have great pleasure in welcoming our guest speaker for this evening, Mr. Mzugisi Kota. Mzugisi is a partner at Weber Wenzel and is the deputy head of the firm's energy sector group. He regularly advises on complex energy and infrastructure projects and has expertise in a number of industries, including electricity, gas, petroleum, ports, rail, education, and gambling. He helps clients with, amongst others, the review of public decision-making, public procurement, legislative drafting, and constitutional and administrative law. Mzugisi has been recognized in Chambers Global as a leading lawyer in the areas of public and administrative law and public procurement. He has also been recognized by Best Lawyers and Legal 500. He has an LLB from Nelson Mandela University as well as an LLM advanced degree in Public International Law from Leiden University in the Netherlands. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Kota.
Good evening, NMU Law Faculty. I must tell you that my instinct is still to say NMMU as opposed to NMU, having graduated from Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University. But I do think that you are the better for graduating from Nelson Mandela University. It is an honor to speak to you this evening, even if it has to be in an online platform as opposed to in person. I have titled my very brief remarks this evening, The Rule of Threes and Simple Thoughts on a Successful Legal Career. I will share these 3 thoughts based on the rule of threes, using 3 rubrics. The first and general underlying one is personal anecdotes. So I'm just basically going to tell you a couple of anecdotes, and that's the extent of the talk. The second one, being one of the personal anecdotes, is experiences in moot court, so mooting. And the third one is passage conversations. So, moot courting. When I was at NMMU, I had the opportunity to represent the university in a number of competitions, moot court competitions, nationally and internationally. One of the things I learned as to how to be an effective orator in the moot court competitions was to structure my arguments in 3 parts. This is where the rule of threes really started to run my life. And when I was at Weber Wenzel, and I had been here for some years, and I think I was just a new partner, so some 7 years old, I think I was 30 years old when I made partner, I asked one of my senior partners, who had been a partner for some 30 years, around his thoughts on what it takes to build a career that is successful, that is sustainable, as in it lasts over many years, and related to that, that is able to adapt to the changing world. And he told me that he's a firm believer in the 3 A's. And these A's, he says, are to him what it takes to be a successful partner in a firm like Weber Wenzel, or a successful legal practitioner in general. And so it is these 3 A's that I'm going to be speaking to you about this evening. The first A is aptitude and or ability. Now, I already used 2 A's in relation to the first A, and I'll tell you why shortly. I've been told that aptitude is this first A, but I add ability, because aptitude has to do with the natural ability to do something, a fit, it's a suitability. And there's some in this room, virtual room, who are in this room because you have an aptitude for the law. You have a natural affinity for it. You have an intellect that lends itself a way of thinking that works well. And there's another category, which is the ability. Ability has to do with capabilities that you've acquired through learning, that you've developed through applying yourself in certain ways, in certain directions. You've learned certain skills, you've acquired certain knowledge and understanding, and that becomes your ability to do something. So there are some of you who have, just by working incredibly hard in a dedicated fashion, have ended up in this room as recipients of awards this evening. So I can already say with some comfort that all you here possess this first A word, the first of the 3 A's. You have the aptitude, oblique, ability. By being in this room, you've also shown yourself as people who are not just people who have ability and aptitude, but that have it to a degree which is exceptional. Hence, you being worthy recipients of awards. And I think you must be very confident and take courage from your presence in this room today. You are exceptional. You have exceptional aptitude, exceptional ability. And you should have confidence in this. So you should take a moment today to just drink in this fact, not to make you cocky or to make you have a bloated head, but to give you confidence that when you leave the hallowed halls of NMU and MU, you are not the big fish leaving the small pond, but you are one of the top law students in the world. And I say that quite intentionally. Now, when I was doing moot court competitions, particularly at the international level, I already had a comfort that I came from a university that could give me the skill set, the ability to compete with peers in the country. But I had serious question marks about whether I could compete globally. The moot competitions that we entered showed us that we could, because we placed as finalists, me and my colleague Deborah Casaline back then, in these international moot court competitions where students from Harvard University, students from other big names like UCLA were there, London School of Economics, and there were these students from a small university in the Eastern Cape. And yet we didn't just go to shoulder to shoulder with these big names, but we managed to come out tops. So be confident that you have received the best education to set you up for a successful legal career. You've received the best skill sets in order to serve you as successful lawyers. When I left NMMU, I applied for and was accepted to do my master's at Leiden University. And I was again intimidated by so august an institution. You know, I was inspired to go there by listening to a speech by John Dugard. I'll tell you more about that in a different conversation on another day. But again, when I got to Leiden University, I firstly managed to get into the advanced master's program, which had a much smaller number of students. And I did that simply by going to the program director and saying, hey, I think I should maybe be in the advanced program. And he was like, oh, I'm not convinced. You can come back in 2 days' time and take an exam and I'll see. And I was like, okay. And I went home and I studied solidly for 2 days and then went and did that Viva Voce exam with him. And there were 3 of us who did that. And I was the only one who was chosen to proceed into the advanced program. So this is to say, NMMU has given you the skill set and you now have the ability and aptitude to be among the best and to succeed in your legal career. Okay, so I spoke a bit long on that first note. I'll be quicker on the last 2 A's. The second A that my colleague, now partner, told me about was availability. One of the biggest adjustments that students who come into the workplace adjust or find difficult to adjust to is the adjustment from a laid-back student, self-determined pace and schedule into the demands of a rigorous legal career. And I say rigorous because I think there are, irrespective of whether you are in a big law firm or in a smaller law firm, by and large, or even if you go into the bar or if you go in-house, by and large, to be a lawyer is to be in a very demanding career. This is because we are a service providers to our clients, and therefore we need to ensure that we are always available to them. So availability is very important. What I've learned in my 14 years is that clients will consistently brief a lawyer who might seem average, but who is available to them consistently, who's able to consistently deliver quality service efficiently and effectively over a lawyer who is a genius, but is not able to observe timelines, and or the genius takes too long to produce, and or only wants to work to their convenience. Clients need to feel that their lawyers have their back, and therefore availability is a key factor. Now, it's important that you do not hear what I'm not saying, which is that you're not required to burn yourself out. We've seen a lot of that during the pandemic, a number of lawyers struggling to juggle the demands of thriving legal careers in a global pandemic with just what they need to do for themselves personally in order to stay healthy. However, it's important to bear in mind while you're building, which is what most of you will be doing when you leave here. You're in a building phase. And as your parents or anyone else who's ever done a construction project will tell you, when you build, you always have to spend a bit more than you intend. It's almost invariable. Every construction project costs a little more than you anticipate. And I want to put it to you that a successful legal career costs just that little bit more than you think it costs. And you have to pay or spend just a little bit more than you might be anticipating as you sit and make your plans. So just factor that in. But buildings do finish, and that's helpful, that there will be a point at which the intensive building phase of your career is complete, and you can take a bit of a step back in terms of how available you need to be. But it is important to bear in mind that if you're going to build a successful career, you have to be available to your clients. Finally, affability. Now, we all have different personalities, and we do not all have the same level of charisma, and we will not all be liked by everyone. However, it is important that you, in terms of how you approach your clients, your colleagues, you always try and maintain an attitude of affability. In other words, don't be a douche. We find that sometimes law students leave university with television mindsets of what legal practice look like and wanting to be a shark lawyer. But by and large, those who are successful lawyers, there are some successful lawyers who are soft-spoken, there are some successful lawyers who are a bit more extrovert, but they're successful lawyers who are a bit more aggressive in presenting their clients' cases. There are others who are constantly rational and cool, but generally, by and large, they are affable. Your clients want to work with people who they like, and similarly, your opposition and other people in the market want to be across someone who's got a reputation for being a good colleague. So it is important to bear in mind that you always have to be considerate, responsive, and respectful. And this is all it takes really to be an affable person. I do tell students who come, when I speak to university students or to high school students, or even to candidate attorneys who come into our firm, that your career is like a never-ending group project. If you thought you hated group projects during your university years, you need to shift that mindset, because your entire career, to my mind, is like a continuous group project. You will always have various stakeholders, from clients to colleagues to judges to regulators, and there will always either be There will be those who are ready to work extremely hard, going the extra mile, and there will be those who are not willing to do their part. And therefore, you always need to maintain a medium of being able to interact with all these different categories of people who directly impact your ability to deliver a quality product to your clients. So it is important that you maintain good working relationships with both those who over-deliver and those who under-deliver. And this is where affability can make a break or break a career. And one last remark on affability is it is important that you do not misinterpret what it means to be affable and become inauthentic, because that comes across quite quickly and will also make you someone who people are not particularly keen to work with. As lawyers, and I use lawyer for all legal careers, we ultimately only have our reputations, and therefore inauthenticity can be very closely linked to unethical behavior, or at least questionable. If people question your authenticity, they will also very quickly question whether you are in fact ethical in your stances or otherwise. So do not misunderstand affability for inauthenticity. So these are my 3 points, and these are my remarks on what I understand with my mere 14 years, but this is stolen from someone with about 30 years of experience to some degree of what it takes to have a successful legal career. And maybe I'll add one last remark, and I apologize for going over my allotted time, which is agility. So a 4th A, or a soft A, which underlies or kind of straddles all 3. Once you have these 3 basic components, I think you are well set to change or move in accordance with changing landscape. Whether there's a pandemic coming, you've become a trusted advisor to your client because you have been available to them. They count on your skill set because you have the aptitude you've demonstrated to them. And you are someone who is the trusted advisor in their businesses because and that they like to work with. Because they like you, they will come to you. And so even if you are a specialist in infrastructure, when a pandemic hits, the clients will come to the client, to the lawyer or the attorney who's walked the journey through them and who they have liked, and you can pivot and use your same skill set to assist your client to navigate a pandemic. When the market crashed in 2009, a number of our partners were suddenly no longer having the areas of practice they'd had for years, such as securitization. Those partners managed to pivot, or those that did manage to pivot, used the same skill set they had, their aptitude and their ability, the relationships they'd built through being available to their clients, and the reputations they had in the market with their colleagues by being affable, to pivot, to become project finance lawyers, as that was taking off as a new space, some of them to become mining lawyers. So I honestly believe that if you have these 3 traits and you remain open to being agile, you can navigate a very successful legal career. Congratulations again on your awards. It has been an incredible honor to speak to you, and I wish I could have done so in person. I hope to run into you in hallways at some point, and please remind me if you do remember that you actually did come across me in this virtual platform, and I'll make sure I buy you a drink. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Kota, for that inspiring address. We are very proud to count you amongst our alumni. Tonight's awards are divided into 4 main categories, namely General Leadership and Academic Awards, Dean's List, Outstanding Module Awards, and Top Achievers Awards. The General Leadership and Academic Awards are awarded to students who demonstrated excellent leadership skills while maintaining consistent academic performance in 2020. The Faculty of Law Leadership Service Award is donated by Dr. Lynn Biggs and goes to Tamia Sauls, Dorcas Nordia, and Lwandile Msimanga for their service to the students of the Faculty of Law. The Top International Student Award is donated by the Office for International Education and is awarded to Mildred Murimi Rambewa for being the international student who obtained the highest weighted academic average over all her modules in 2020. The Cum Laude Graduate Awards are donated by Fatuwane Heni and are awarded to LLB final year students who graduated with a weighted academic average of 75% across all their modules from first to final year, passed all their modules on their first attempt, and obtained an average of 75% across 6 of their final year modules. Our 2020 cum laude graduates are in alphabetical order: Megan Alderman, Sean Botha, Lionel Conradi, Sarah Daly, Robin de Kock, Richard de Toy, Ivan Hubert, Belinda Matiba, Kodani Ndulane, Tina Nzaluba, Brandon Price, Michele van Schalkwyk, Lindsay Young. The Dean's List consists of students who, while completing undergraduate degree programs, obtained 75% weighted academic average across all their modules in 2020. The LLB students who have made the Dean's List are in alphabetical order: Megan Alderman, Christian Botha, Sean Botha, Asha Bama, Lionel Conradi, Sarah Daly, Richard Dutoy, Mane Eckhart, Simone Handen, Ivan Hubert, Kolisa Majola, Hafsa Mboge, Mildred Murimi Rumbewa, Tina Nzaluba, Brandon Price, Stacy Smith, Michele van Schalkwyk, Armand van Staden, Laika Williams, Lindsay Young. The LLB extended students who have made the Dean's List are, in alphabetical order, Amor Bear, Bernardus Botha, Douglas Dlamini, Kayla Green, Kutso Hopa, Toriso Lubisi, Lawrence Lwanga, Belinda Matiba, Arnu Meya, Morris Nechipale, Ngarote Nechipale, Nasubila Ngambi. The BA Law students who made the Dean's List are, in alphabetical order, Nicholas Els, Kolofelo Mogoeng, William Worth, Noguthula Zigalala. The BCom Law students who have made the Dean's List are, in alphabetical order: Cassidy Billings, Dane Camphor, Nicole Crisanthu, Amanda Mbanga, Leletu Stearman, The Outstanding Module Awards are awarded to students who obtained the highest marks in selected LLB modules in 2020. The Outstanding Performance in Criminal Law Award is donated by friends of the late Dr. John von Bonde and goes to Asha Bama with a mark of 78%. The Outstanding Performance in Constitutional Law Award is donated by CANRAD and goes to Siamtanda Hlangwane with a mark of 96%. The Outstanding Performance in Law of Delict and Damages is donated by Prof. Andre Makaiba and goes to Bernardas Botha with a mark of 87%. The Outstanding Performance in Law of Things Award is donated by the Department of Private Law and goes to Toriso Libisi and Tyron Usai, who both obtained 94%. The Outstanding Performance in Customary Law is donated by the Department of Private Law and goes to Sisipho Senkosi Poti with a mark of 85%. The Outstanding Performance in Civil Procedure Award is donated by LexisNexis and goes to Brandon Price with a mark of 95%. The Outstanding Performance in Criminal Procedure Award is donated by the Department of Criminal and Procedural Law and goes to Armand van Staden with a mark of 88%. The Outstanding Performance in Labor Law Award is donated by the Labor and Social Security Law Unit and goes to Cassidy Buildings with a mark of 88%. The Outstanding Performance in Intellectual Property Law Award is donated by Spoor and Fisher and goes to Michelie van Skalkwyk with a mark of 96%. The Outstanding Performance in Human Rights Law Award is donated by Prof. Joanna Botha and goes to Simone Hardan with a mark of 86%. The Outstanding Performance in Environmental Law Award is donated by the Environmental Law Association of South Africa and goes to Michelie van Skalkwyk with a mark of 91%. The Outstanding Performance in Law of Contract Award is donated by Prof. Christoph van Lacherenberg and goes to Bernardas Botha with a combined average of 84%. The Outstanding Performance in Land Tenure and Eviction Law is donated by PPS and goes to Leslie DeToy with a mark of 84%. The Outstanding Performance in Law of Succession Award is donated by the Department of Private Law and goes to Toriso Lubisi with a mark of 90%. The Outstanding Performance in Administrative Law Award is donated by Advocate Michelle Bianca and goes to Sarah Daly with a mark of 84%. The Outstanding Performance in Insolvency Law Award is donated by the Department of Mercantile Law and goes to Amira Alexander with a mark of 83%. The Outstanding Performance in Moot Court Award is donated by Advocate Morinda Feldsman and goes to Kwezilomso Godana and Lindsay Young. The Donovan Tuck Award for Outstanding Performance in Consumer Protection and Credit Law is donated by Advocate Michelle Morgan and goes to Lionel Conradi with a mark of 90%. The Outstanding Performance in Public Law Modules Award is donated by the Department of Public Law and goes to Tina Nzaluba with a combined average of 82%. The Outstanding Performance in Legal Practice Award is donated by McWilliams and Elliott and goes to Michelle van Schalkwyk. The Best Treatise of an LLB Final Year Student Award is donated by Carsons Incorporated and the Faculty of Law and goes to Nompilo Mchunu and Nelly Sandaleni, who both obtained 70%. The Outstanding Performance in the School for Legal Practice Award is donated by Advocate Michelle Morgan and goes to Megan van Rensburg with an overall average of 81%. The Top Achievers Award are awarded to students who obtained the highest marks in their respective programs in 2020. The Top Higher Certificate in Criminal Justice Graduate Award is donated by the Department of Criminal and Procedural Law and goes to Sinemibongo Sol with an average of 73%. The Top Diploma in Law Enforcement Student Award is donated by the Department of Criminal and Procedural Law and goes to Ruan Gallant with an average of 84%. The Top Postgraduate Diploma in Labor Law Practice Graduate Award is donated by the Labor and Social Security Law Unit and goes to Lorette Waite with an average of 80%. The Top BA Law Graduate Award is donated by the Department of Public Law and goes to Julia Brightman with an average of 68%. The Top BCom Law Graduate Award is donated by the Department of Mercantile Law and goes to Nicole Crisanthu with an average of 83%. The Top LLB First Year Student Award is donated by Weber Wenzel and goes to Ngarote Nechpale with a weighted average of 80%. The Top LLB Second Year Student Award is donated by Weber Wenzel and goes to Sisipho Senkosi Poti with a weighted average of 74%. The top LLB Third Year Student Award is donated by LexisNexis and PPS and goes to Bernardus Botha with a weighted average of 84%. The top final year LLB Student Award is donated by ENS Africa and goes to Brandon Price with a weighted average of 83%. The top LLM Coursework Graduate Award is donated by the Alumni Association and goes to Veronique Tatchell, who obtained her master's degree cum laude with a mark of 78%. The top LLM Research Graduate Award is donated by the Department of Public Law and goes to Priscilla Moyo, who obtained her master's degree cum laude with a mark of 78%. The Law Student of the Year Award is donated by the Department of Private Law and LexisNexis and is awarded to the final year LLB student who obtained the highest weighted average over all their modules from first to final year. The 2020 Law Student of the Year Award goes to Brandon Price with an overall average of 85%. Congratulations to our prize winners. We would also like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2020 on their graduation. Thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate our students' achievement. Stay safe and good night.